live liberty, and death to the New World Order. Prepare yourself. This is Real News Radio with your host, Farron.
All right, we are back on the Real News Radio. Again, the website, therealnewsradio.com. You do not know how much I love that intro. And we were talking with Jim before or during the break about CS gas. It will make you contract so hard that it actually can break your spine. It's a form of tear gas. It smells like flowers, so people are unaware of what's happening. But it is devastating gas to have to be involved with, and to do this to children, it's criminal.
And there's evidence of this in the movie, Rules of Engagement. They show some of the corpses in the wreckage. And it's,
children, exactly.
And they're all bent up in shape that fire would not do.
Yes, definitely look into that. Let's remember Waco on this April 18th. The anniversary is tomorrow. We're waiting for Al Cobb to call in from Davie County. And while we're waiting on that, I want to give a shout-out to Nina's show. They're listening today, her and her family. Our prayers are with her. She's been through some surgery, and I'm glad she's getting to join us today. But something I wanted to comment on, since we're going to be back on taxes, Al will be joining us. He'd said it'd be about 7 or 8 o'clock. A lot of people are unaware there was no federal income tax until 1913. The federal government existed from 1776 to 1913 without a federal income tax, and at that point it was only 2% tax. It was 1943 when they instigated this federal income tax withholding, where they actually rob your check before you get it and treat you like the peasant that you are, a mere slave. And then, if I'm not, and correct me if I'm wrong, Brian, it was instigated for the war and said it would be removed, but never was.
I believe that's correct.
And since we're back on the taxes, because we're going to be mentioning with Al, he was at the Tea Party, and we're going to be talking about the income tax, or the property tax in Davie County. There is a quote from Thomas Jefferson, and he says, "I believe that banking institutions are more dangerous to our liberties than standing armies. Already they have risen up a moneyed aristocracy that has set the government at defiance. The issuing power should be taken from the banks and restored to the people to whom it properly belongs." Thomas Jefferson. I think that's a great quote, and a lot of people may not be aware your federal income tax rate is at least 15%. It can vary. You've got a state income tax of 7%, and a Social Security self-employed pay 15.65, divided in half for people that are employed by a company. That totals over 30% of your income before you ever get your paycheck. You pay over 60% of what you make in taxes. I understand now we are joined by Al Cobb. Are you with me today, sir?
Yes, sir, Farron. How are you and Brian this morning?
Doing good. It's a pleasure to have you on the Real News, and I know your time was limited this morning. I want to go ahead and get started with it. For the people in Davie County and surrounding areas, the government in Davie County had the audacity in an economic collapse, in an economic meltdown, where the housing bubble, as the media reports, has burst, to go up on the people's property tax, and correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't it a 6 to 8% increase, Mr. Cobb?
Yes, it was. It was anywhere from 6 to 8%. But because I questioned their evaluations, mine is up to 12% now after going before the Equalization and Review Board, which is a joke.
Okay, so you dared to step off the reservation and question the authority, and you're being punished for it. If you would, tell us what the method was. Tell us about your meeting and how you were treated, and do you feel like you got a fair shake, or was the fix in before you got there?
Oh, no, Farron, it was, I guess I must have a little Missouri in me, show me, that type thing. I had neighbors, friends all over the county. With my job, I go house to house, and everybody told me, you're just wasting your time, you're hitting your head against the wall, and it's a one-sided, just hurt you with taxes if you do what I did. But like I say, I've always been kind of hard-headed, and I retired, semi-retired a year ago, I'm going into my second year of retirement, so I have a little more time, Baron. And so I'd always appeal the first tax appraisal that they sent me out. And like this last time, they jumped me up. Oh, by the way, I had a private appraisal on my property, the prior appraisal of our property, which he gave it as $110,000. That was everything, lock, stock, and barrel. Well, I'll have to say the local county appraiser was right in there with him. They appraised it at $109,090. Well, they this time around they jumped it up to $119,940. And of course, I appealed it with the first appeal, which I've always done ever since I've been, being taxed like this. They knocked $3,760 off. And that's what they always did. See, I have a little more time this time, and I couldn't understand with us in the middle of a depression. Everyone that knows anything at all, any economists and all that are predicting, what I mean, we're just going into a deeper depression. So I couldn't understand why they would be upping our taxes. What I asked them, Fern, was to just put it off. Give us 4 years. Cut pork out of your budget. There's plenty of pork in all government budgets, county, state, federal. And I said, just hold us off for 4 years and let's see what it's going. And then if you have to tax us. But no, they couldn't do this. They're going to tax and spend right on. They don't care how bad off we are out here. I've got neighbors, Baron, that I can count on my fingers around me. This is not reading it out of the paper. They've lost their good-paying jobs at Freightliner and elsewhere. All right, they're drawing unemployment right now. But let me ask you, if the depression is going worse, where are they going to find jobs when their unemployment benefits run out?
Exactly. And to be clear, you took evidence of houses that had sold in your neighborhood that sold drastically under tax value. I mean, you took some real evidence to display, and it fell on deaf ears.
Oh, yeah. Listen, trust me, I'm not a rocket scientist. I'm just a plumber. And common sense told me that thing was a done deal the minute I walked in the room. I could feel it. I knew it. It was a done deal. In other words, I ruffled some feathers. So instead of me getting 6 to 8% increase, I'm looking at a 12% increase on my property here in the county. In other words, $13,390 increase because I disagreed with them. Now, my only choice is to appeal it, and I did talk to one lady since then that they did her the same way, and she went out of the county, paid $500, got an appraisal, independent appraisal, and they fell all over and says, we're so sorry, it was just a technical error on our part, and apologized and fell all over. Well, I only have one choice, and that's spend something around $500 to correct them. And it's just not right. It's just not right. And let me tell people where they're headed if they don't believe me and they don't wake up. What bothers me, Fern, so bad is I ran into so many people when I was so angered over this increase in the middle of a depression. They have this attitude. They're scared of the local government, state, and federal. But, if you go up there, you're going to cause trouble, and they're just going to make it hard on you. Well, they did. They made it hard on me. There's no doubt about that. But I'd rather buck my head, hit my head on the wall, and maybe get a little bloody than I had to sit by and let the county dictate to me when I know they are wrong. Let me give you an example out of a magazine that my wife and I take. It's Countryside Magazine. It was in January, February 2009 edition, if anybody wants to look it up. This poor man wrote in, he owned 75 acres farm in upstate New York, 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, a barn in great shape, and the best part of all, he said, it's paid off. He worked hard and paid it off. The government extorts $10,000 a year from him in taxes every year. In other words, what I'm saying is it's coming here to local people if we don't stand up and take our government back for and by and other people. Right now, on the county level, we have a dictatorship. I mean, it's just obvious. I mean, you can see it.